All right, so welcome. It looks like we've got a lot of
Yeah, that's exciting.
I'm glad to see all of you guys, even though I can't see you, right? All right, so welcome. So my name is Dr. Tammy Pobosic, and I'm the chair of the nursing program. So I'm just going to take a few minutes today, and please, if you have a question, either raise your hand, although I might have a hard time like seeing that. But at the end, I will make sure that I stop sharing my screen, and then I'll be able to see if anybody has their hand raised, or you guys can just chime in if you have questions. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the.
Give me 1 second.
And if you guys want to mute too, then we won't be able to hear you guys if you're talking in the background. So the nursing program prerequisites. So these are some of the prerequisites that you need to have to start the nursing program. So the statistics, there's a couple of different statistics.
You waiting for Mr. Ferguson?
And there's two of the chemistries and psychology and both anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, and human nutrition, microbiology, oral communication. So those are category 9, which I have, and then I believe in the next slide it talks about like what category 9 and what category 10. So those are two categories that you'll need to make sure that you have one of those out of the categories. I'll also say that because I just got an email recently about anatomy and physiology. So you could take anatomy and physiology as long as like you look and it's accepted here. But I would say that if you're going to take it at another community college or another university, make sure that you plan to take both of them together at that same place, because sometimes different places split anatomy and physiology different ways. So it's so that way, if you take one place and then try to transfer it to SVSU, we may break it down in a different way that that other colleges do. So just keep that in mind. So prerequisites, I have a link. There is, you can go on and like look to see like what classes might transfer in, and there's a link you can go on there. There's course petitions. So if you take a course, some things will have to be, why did this do this again? I noticed it doesn't have my email on this slide. There's course petitions. So if it's and Monica can chime in. So Monica is our nursing advisor. And so a course petition, if it's directly in the nursing program, then I would have to, as the nursing chair, has to be approved. Is that correct? They don't just bring them up?
Technically, that is correct. However, I do want to let everybody know that there are a lot of courses that we routinely accept, and our registrar has a list of those approved courses where we don't have to go through the whole formal petition process. So if you have courses that don't transfer as specific equivalent, my suggestion to you is if you're ready to apply to the nursing program or think you're ready, you could make an appointment to meet with me to talk, or email me to talk it over. And my email address would be at the end of this PowerPoint, Monica Skiba. And then if you're a newer student, if you're just starting out, or you have 2 or 3 or more semesters to go before you plan to apply to the program, you would meet with Rachel Winter, who is the Health and Human Services academic advisor. And she also does pre-nursing advising. So I would say if you think you have to petition something, touch base with either me or Rachel first. That's the only thing you have to remember. Okay.
Thanks. And then the other thing is if you end up having to petition a course, it helps. I really need to look at that syllabus to make sure, and then that way I can look and see if that's something that that we feel like in the nursing department would be an appropriate course for you to take. And I apologize, I thought I changed this, but my email address I know is on the nursing page, and I think I have it at the end of this PowerPoint. So general education courses. So a lot of students in the beginning are taking a lot of their general education courses, as well as their nursing prerequisite courses. So these are some categories, and then here's a link to that catalog. So there's different categories that you have. And so those categories 3, 4, 6, 7, and 10 are gen ed courses, as well as nursing program prerequisites. And then there's others that need to be taken prior to graduation. So all of those categories for nursing program prerequisites need to be taken prior to you applying to the nursing program. You may take some other gen ed courses, like maybe in the spring or the summer, in between some of your nursing courses. So they don't all have to be completed. So we have to have something out of category 1, which is literature. Category 2 is arts. And category 5 and 8. So those are courses that you can kind of choose what's interesting to you, and maybe you might take those in the in the spring or the summer. You have to have 4 upper division elective courses, and I think I have those on the next slide. And then 2 intensive communication courses. So those are some things that are gen ed courses that everybody who gets a degree, any kind of bachelor's degree, they have to have gen ed courses. We also have some upper division elective courses. They can be any 300 or 400 level courses from any discipline. So if it's something that you're interested in, it's the 300 or 400 level course, you can take that to meet that gen ed elective. We do have some specific things for nursing that some students are interested in taking. And so we have an exploration of nursing. And so these courses that are, they have the NURS are all 1 credit courses, except that last one, which is advanced cardiac life support. So that's only happens in the spring or summer. And that's for like students who might be thinking that they want to go work in ER or ICU. That's an ACLS course, and so you take a test, and it has a portion where you practice the skills that you learned, and so that usually happens every spring or summer. We have an instructor that teaches that course, and then you can see some of the other ones. So we have pain management across the lifespan. So pain is something that when you get your nursing license, that is something that every time you renew your license, you have to have a pain course to say that you've taken that to meet the requirements of your license. So that's something that someone's put together, one of the faculty. So all of these NURS courses are taught by some of the nursing faculty. Human trafficking is another course that some students take, and that's again a requirement of our license. So that kind of meets that, as well as gives you some information on human trafficking. Transcultural nursing, exploration of nursing history, and resiliency. So those are offered. Some of them you can see are offered in the fall and winter. Some of them are offered in the summer. So you can just kind of keep an eye out. Sometimes they do fill up. So I would say if it's something that you're interested in, make sure that you are registering early for those courses. So minimum qualifications to apply to the nursing program. So you have to have a cumulative GPA with your prerequisites of statistics and science courses. You have to have a 3.0 minimum GPA. And if for some reason you're transferring any of those courses in, so like that AMP courses, you need to make sure that you have no lower than a B- in those courses. You have to have a cumulative overall GPA of 3.0. And then biology 111A is a program requirement. Is not a program requirement, but a lot of times it is a prerequisite to some of those other biology courses. So you're going to need to take that biology 111 course. Prerequisites need to be completed by the end of the fall semester. So if you're planning to apply for the winter semester, you need to make sure that you're in those, having all your prerequisites completed by the end of that semester prior to. Up to 3 of the required prerequisite courses can be repeated one time. So if you had to repeat more than one of those, you wouldn't qualify to be in the nursing program. So keep that in mind, like as you're planning your schedule, that some of those courses are, harder. And so, maybe not trying to take 16 credits would be a really good thing, especially like the semester, you have A&P and microbiology. So our application period for the fall semester, so our application is going to be open on the 12th of September through October 17th at noon. So if you plan on applying for winter of 23, those are some dates that you want to keep in mind and make sure that your application is complete. So don't wait until, the 17th of October at 11 o'clock at night and try to start that application. Make sure that you're doing that well in advance so you're all ready and have that all ready to go. And so after you're have all those prerequisites completed, so you would apply to the nursing program, and this is how we calculate GPAs and how we would rank you for when you're applying to the program. So a 4.0 is an A, a 3.7 is an A minus. So you can kind of see that's where you want to be able to calculate your GPA, and that just helps you do that. So then you're going to multiply each class number by the credits. So we take those. If you had a B and it was you had a 3.0 and it was a 4 credit course, you would get 12, a total of like 12 points within that course for your application. And so you can see that this then that would be your grade point average if you added all those up. So when you're trying to figure out your GPA, you can just know the credits of the course and what grade you got based on the prior slide that I sent out. So this student would have a total of 76 divided by their 23 credits. So their grade point average would be, in their math and science, GPA would be 3.15. So they would qualify to be in the program. So the application process, so within those 2 weeks after the application period is closed, applicants will receive an email regarding the status of their application. So it may be that you've got all your prerequisites, we know your grades for those courses, and it might say fully admitted to the program. If for some reason that you apply and you still have courses that you're completing for the fall semester, it might say that you're provisionally admitted based, we're still waiting for your grades for the fall semester. So as long as you meet those requirements for those courses, then you would be admitted. Or it could say that, you didn't meet the qualifications. So those people who meet the qualifications, then we would ask you to start the process of a background check, because that takes sometimes a while for the background check. So keep in mind that what a background check is looking for is we have to, all of our clinical sites, especially in your first couple of semesters, they require background checks as well as when you go to get a nursing license. So you need to make sure that you'll be able to see that once you complete your background check. It's in the system. You can download it and see what it shows up. And sometimes that does take a while. So we need to make sure that there's no misdemeanors, there's no felonies, because those are things that could potentially that you wouldn't be able to get a nursing license. And so if you couldn't get a nursing license, we wouldn't be able to place you in some clinical sites. So then the next step would be these qualified applications would go to that committee. And then once those courses are completed, if you had any courses that you needed to finish up, then you'll be all set. So the selection process, so we, all students, submit their application. All the information is ranked on a sheet that is nothing by name. It's only numbers and the data information. So we have 5 faculty members, the chairperson and the program director. We go through and we, make sure that students all meet the qualifications of the GPA. Again, they're ranked without their name, address, or gender, any kind of identifying information. So again, those GPA requirements, the cumulative GPA, those are all things that we look at, and then total SVSU credits. So if you take all of your credits here at Saginaw Valley, and Monica, will you chime in? Because I want to make sure I say, like, they get more points when they're adding up if they've taken all of their credits at Saginaw Valley.
Yes, currently, if students take, let's see, 41 credits or more, if they complete 41 credits or more at Saginaw Valley, they're given an extra 5 points on their application. So it goes like, if you go from 1 to 10 credits completed at Saginaw Valley, it gives you an extra 1 extra point. If you have a competitive application and you're well over the 3.0 minimum that's required to apply, it really shouldn't make a big difference to you one way or the other getting those extra points. But sometimes if students have a 3.0 and they're right on the borderline, when they meet with either me or Rachel to do pre-nursing advising, sometimes we'll do strategic planning and say, you could take a 1 credit nursing elective, which you can use for your nursing major. And if you take that in the spring or summer before you start the nursing program, that'll give you an extra point toward your application. So again, another good reason, I know I keep saying it over and over, but the best thing you can possibly do is make an appointment with a pre-nursing advisor as soon as possible, so that we can kind of start doing that planning with you, no matter where you are in your process, as far as completing your nursing prerequisites. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, so it's just that we kind of, gave a little bit more points for people who completed like all of their courses here at
Yes.
Valley. And it's not that we don't ever admit somebody, like Monica said, if somebody has a competitive application, that's not going to really make a difference. But
Yes.
all right, so then all of the students will be notified by the end of November, or if you're not applying until the winter semester in May, again, whether they're fully admitted, provisionally admitted, or not admitted. So again, that provisionally admitted might just be because you're still taking a couple of classes that you need to wait for your grades to come in. There are 96 students that we admit. So every fall and winter, we have 96 students that we can admit. And sometimes we actually will notify a few more, depending on what those look like, because we know that there's going to be students that are going to choose not to come. So we try to get as close to that 96, because that's what we put as a cohort. Admitted students then are sent directions to obtain their drug screen. Make sure that you have a CPR certification. So that healthcare CPR certification, it's important for you to make sure it's the healthcare certification. And then those are all, they have an assigned due date. So if you're admitted to the program, all of those clinical requirements, your background check, your CPR, all of your immunization records, health provider form, all of those have a date that they need to be. So I know right now for this semester, they're due this Friday, which is August 12th. So that's something that you'll also want to make sure that once you're admitted, that like what the dates are for things to be submitted. So once you're in the program, we have 5 semesters of nursing. So we call them N semesters. So you start in N1, and end at N5. So most of the courses are between 12 and 13 credits a semester when you're actually in the nursing program. And that's why, you know, I would probably say that most semesters don't try to take, you know, any of your gen ed courses if you've got extra ones to take. In the summer or spring might be a better, you know, better time to take them. There's going to be some semesters that are really heavier, and most of the time you're pretty much busy Monday through Friday. So one of the days that you will spend in the simulation lab almost every semester for about 4 hours. So that's going to be, it's called an integration class. And then every semester you're going to go to clinical. So during your very first semester, that might be at an assisted living, it might be at a long-term care facility. Once you get into the second level, you go into the hospital. And into, that's also the mental health semester. During your third semester, it's community. So you might be going to home care, into some schools, into the health department. And then in N4, you can have your specialty like pediatrics and OB, and then med surg. So you're all back in the hospital that semester. And then your final semester is back in the hospital, like leadership and ICE critical care. So that's kind of how you end it. And then during your N3 and N4 semester over the spring and summer, we have an internship course that you take. So you're assigned with a nurse during that time, and you're really being able to practice a lot of the skills that you've learned over that time. So that happens either after N4, depending on when you're admitted, or after N3 in that. So students are just finishing up that right now who have been in N4 and N3 and N4. So again, you're going to become good friends with your N groups. So some different semesters let you maybe choose which course, which section you're in, because you'll be in with 32 other students in class. So class, lab, the simulation lab, and your classes, there's 32 students. So some semesters we tell you you need to register for this certain section of class, because we like, then you'll be in probably all of the classes together with the same people. So your end semesters. And then here I have Monica's information and Rachel's information. So you'll probably just want to make sure you jot that down. I believe that's on our website as well.
And one thing that really helps us is if you do want to make an appointment with either me or Rachel, if you would send us 3 dates and times that you're available, that just helps with scheduling purposes. Then we're not going back and forth trying to figure out when we can meet. And at this point, we're very happy to do virtual meetings. They seem to be very convenient for most students. And what we would do is send you the link for the meeting, and then on that day and time, we can give you different materials, like a list of pre-nursing courses. And it's just nice with the chat box that we have in Teams, we're able to kind of, you have a written record in there of what we did or talked about. So if we refer you to somebody with their name and email, that stays on that virtual meeting, and you can go back to it and refer to it later. So hopefully that made sense what I just said.
Is there anything, Monica, that I missed that you want to share?
I don't think so. With the GPA calculations, one thing you can do is if you Google online college GPA calculator, there's all kinds of calculators out there. So you can always Google that, and that will do that math for you. I don't remember if we specifically, did we say the specific classes that are part of the science stats GPA? I don't remember if that was on there.
I don't know if it was.
For your science statistics GPA, you need a 3.0. And what we do is we calculate the GPA when we combine your grades in A and P1, A and P2,
I agree. So
Keeps you out of trouble.
and then you wouldn't miss anything, because they're looking, they're looking at another set of eyes for, anything that you might, think you had and didn't, don't have. So,
yeah.
All right. So does anyone have any questions that we haven't answered, but answer for you? You just want to raise your hands or type in the chat box. Shannon, do you have?
Yes, I did have a question. Is there a time limit on when you can have taken the courses that are the prereqs for the program? So for example, if you took A&P like 3 years ago, does that still work for the prereqs for the program?
As long as,
because I'm a second degree candidate.
yep, as long as you meet, as long as your grades, yes, there's not like any time limit. And 3 years, I would say probably isn't too long. I worry if somebody, had been 10 years, that's kind of sometimes a long time for A&P, but they're really easy to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Peyton, looks like you have your hand up.
Hi, so I just had a question. So I have a bunch of transfer credits from high school, and I have a list of how they all transferred. So I'm just worried about how those will affect my GPA if I possibly have some help calculating all of that after the meeting's over.
Yeah, make an appointment with Rachel on that, and she'll be able to look at your transcripts and do those calculations with you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Looks like Michaela.
I have a quick question regarding immunizations. What if you are waiting for your shot? Like, for example, how it's the 4-month waiting period to get your booster shot. What if that time isn't up by the time you get accepted into the program?
Are you
going? I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
You will have a clinical coordinator assigned to you when you start the nursing program or before you start the nursing program. And that would be a question for your N1 clinical coordinator. You could reach out to them right away. As soon as you get your acceptance letter, their contact information will be in there, and they can step by step walk you through what to do.
Okay, thank you.
You're talking about like the COVID vaccine. I mean, that's not, as long as you've had both, technically right now, the series of the 2 of them are really considered fully, vaccinated. The boosters aren't necessarily at this time. But yeah, we would definitely work with that. If it's not time for you to get those, you just work with we have both of their names are Danielle's who work with clinical stuff. So
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. And it looks like Gracie, do you have?
Hi, yes, I just have a question about how to make an appointment. Do I just email you, or is there somewhere on the website?
Yes, if you email, and hi, this is Gracie. I'm planning to, or I'm just starting at Saginaw Valley, or I've been here for 2 or 3 semesters and I want a pre-nursing advising appointment, and I'm available on these 3 dates and times. And we'll email you back, and we'll give you a link for a virtual meeting. and then we can meet and talk about it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
I don't think I see anybody else's hand up unless I'm missing it. Does anybody else have any questions? I mean, oh, Eric, looks like I see.
Yeah, I had a question. What if you were a transfer student trying to get into the nursing program here at SVSU? Let's say example from Delta to SVSU for the nursing portion.
Sure. Yep, definitely same thing. Make an appointment and we will, at the time that you email us, if we have your official transcripts on file and we'll have access to them. If we don't see them, we might have to ask you to send us your unofficial transcript so that we can review that before our meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. What other questions does everybody have? Anything? Okay, well, I guess we're set for now, Dr. Pobosic.
Thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you in the fall. Hope you have a good fall semester.
Thanks. Bye.